First time ever in the history of the Formula Holden Australian Drivers' Championship that they've been here at the top end, Hidden Valley. Hot conditions today too for the latest round of the championship. Here's the circuit, 2.9 k's in length and characterised by that 1.1 kilometre main straight. Let's go trackside. Grant Denyer is with Rick Kelly.
Right, Rick, 3/100ths of a second behind Simon, but it did come at the cost of a spin in qualifying, trying to chase him.
Yeah, I did have a little bit of a moment there. I just went a little bit too deep and certainly found the limits of the car.
It certainly was a spectacular spin. Now, can you chase Simon and can you catch him and be quicker than him in these two races that we have ahead?
I'd like to think so. I mean, he's very quick out there and very precise, so it's just a matter of me perfecting my driving style and getting right up there and beating him.
Jump aboard with Rick Kelly. In fact, he will start from grid position 2 in this one. To give you an idea, a V8 supercar laps this circuit in around about 1 minute and 9 seconds. So you can expect the outright lap record of the Hidden Valley track to be broken today. Simon Wills on pole alongside Kelly. And this will be the last time that we see Simon Wills behind the wheel of a Formula Holden. Once again, teaming up with Barana Engineering after that mixed result at the last round of the championship in Adelaide. What can Kelly do? Warm conditions here today too. Stewart Mccall had some dramas at a recent test. Crashed, in fact, at Calder Park. He's expected to be quick in the NRC, Holden. Away we go. Good start by Simon Wills. Kelly trying to stay in touch with him as they fly down this main straight. Alan Gurr has blasted off the line brilliantly as well in the telecell entry, but it'll be Simon Wills who will lead Rick Kelly into turn 1 for the first time. Welcome Cameron McConville to the commentary box for this one. And Cam, these hot conditions could be interesting for the Formula Holdens in their first outing at the top end.
And it will too, Greg. It's a very, very fast track here in these cars. They look absolutely fantastic. A small but quality field. Oh, a bit of a brake lock up back in the pack there. It'll be interesting to see just how Alan Gurr goes too, because no one has any data at this track. He's new to the championship and he wants to try and get on the podium this weekend. That
big mover through the field is Christian Murchison in the Hocking Motorsport entry, the Reynard 97D. He's gotten his way around Chris Clearahan and Emerson Newton-John up ahead of him. Newton-John's teammate, Stewart Mccall, and our race leader, Simon Wills, and he's just ahead of Rick Kelly. Now, this is where they swing onto the front straight. Simon Wills is already there, and you see some incredible speeds here, Cam, in excess of 260 k an hour.
Very, very fast down this front straight. They only come onto the straight fairly slow, but over a kilometre of straight there. Very deep under brakes. It's quite bumpy here for these Formula Holden cars, but this is an exciting track to drive on, so I can only imagine in one of these Formula Holdens. Let's go on board. A little bit of oversteer there. On board with Rick Kelly. Up through the sequential gearbox. Full throttle through the quick right-left here, then hard on the brakes. Probably drop back to second gear into this right-hander, just avoiding the curb on the way out there. Looking very tight as far as road on the way out of the corner, but it's great to see Holden and HSV giving Rick Kelly a go. He's a very, very talented young driver.
Yeah, he certainly is, and having Simon Wills return to this category as well has been good for Rick Kelly. It's been a bit of a yardstick for him to work against.
It has, and I'd like to see Simon Wills stay on, actually, because that will only improve Rick Kelly's speed, even though there is no question over his ability. You can see very smooth onto the front straight there. Be just lifting slightly on those gear changes, won't be using the clutch though, just pulling them through. Top gear now, you can see his head bobbing around in the wind there, so some 250 to 260 kilometres an hour at the end of this front straight.
You can see the way that Christian Murchison's head is moving around there. It's getting a bit of a buffeting. It could also be that he's not happy with the car and the fact that he had to storm through from the rear of the grid. Here comes Emerson Newton-John having a look down the inside of Conte Paris, who is in the second of the Hocking Motorsport entries. Con from Golden in New South Wales was meant to drive in one of the Konica Series rounds very recently, and he's just been passed by Emerson Newton-John. Now, he's had a mixed season so far. Very strong performance at Phillip Island, but a tough run and a heavy crash on the streets of Adelaide.
Well, that would have probably set him back a little bit too, Rusty, because these cars are very, very fast. He hit the wall very quick too. Let's just have a look on replay here. Oh, big oversteer slide from Mark Ellis there, so just trying to get the power down to maybe get a run on there, but he continues on, didn't lose too much ground. But Simon, oh look, Alan Gurr coming into the pits. I'm not sure if this is some sort of mechanical problem or a penalty, but that's really disappointing. Alan was desperate to get on the podium and get some points.
Yeah, that's a tough break for the 19-year-old from New South Wales. in the telecell entry from Ralt Australia. We jump aboard with the Holden Young Lion. 18-year-old Rick Kelly missed out on winning the Formula Ford Championship last year by just 1 point. Let's have a listen.
Well, there you go, down the front straight in Hidden Valley there. The car's very, very well balanced under brakes, just getting under a lap car, and he's definitely closing the gap to Simon Wills, and still plenty of laps to do it.
All right, let's go to Grant. He's with Alan Gurr.
Well, Alan Gurr, Hidden Valley, he's dealt you a cruel blow. What's pulled you out of the race?
About lap 4 or 5 into it, the gearbox just started to stick, and I couldn't pull the gears. It'd stick neutral and then hold a gear. It's just like lost all pressure, and I don't know what it is. And then round the back it just locked up totally, and it's just stuck in neutral.
Going well until then.
Yeah, well, I guess these things happen, but it's unfortunate, and hopefully get it fixed and I get back for race 2, but it is disappointing.
Christian Murchison has moved himself up into 4th position, doing a terrific job. He's been... Oh, he's gone around. Christian Murchison, just as we spoke, has gone around. He's kept the car alive. He hasn't stalled it, but that's cost him a stack of time.
Yeah, it looked like he may have just got on the power a little bit too early, coming out of the corner just as we were commentating on how well he was going. And I'd say those rear tyres might be a little warm now, a couple of 360s there.
These cars all run on the Yokohama control tyre, and they'll be getting a tough workout today in the hot conditions at Hidden Valley.
Well, I just wonder whether there was a fair bit of puff of smoke coming out of the back of that car, out of the exhaust. Now, I'm not sure whether he may have wrong slotted a gear or have gone one too many gears on the downshift, because it seemed to have locked the rears and around it went, but he'll resume the battle.
Back aboard with Rick Kelly.
Well, for the viewers at home, I can't tell you how quick these cars are around here. A bit of a puff of smoke, so the inside front brake locking up. Rick Kelly is really on a charge here. One more gear through the quick right-hander.
That area of the track that he just came through was the valley. Oh, and he's gone off big time. Rick Kelly has gone off. Well, that is a shame. He was doing very well, the Holden Young Lion, out after Simon Wills. Now, just judging by the lap times here, he may still be in 2nd position. I think he's lost a lot of time, but I don't think that Stewart Mccall is close enough to have wrestled 2nd position away from Rick Kelly, but there is a massive gap now between Kelly and our race leader Simon Wills, who's setting a staggering pace. Incidentally, got down to the 1:03s in this race. Look at the way the Kiwi is moving around inside that cockpit.
I was just about to comment too that on that in-car shot, he was going through that right-hander completely full throttle. He didn't lift at all. I think just had a slight bit of understeer mid-corner. Let's have a look. Just tended to run wide. You can see the car didn't go sideways, so it lost grip at the front. Just pushed or understeered wide, ran off the road, and very fortunate that guardrail's a fair way back off the racing line there, and he was able to resume. And we'll have to settle for 2nd in this one.
Well, he is our championship leader at the moment, so 2nd position will be more valuable points in the bank for him. There's 3rd, Stewart Mccall for the NRC team. He did a great job on the streets of Adelaide, but this man makes a return to the Formula Holden ranks with devastating fashion once again. Did it in the 2nd race in Adelaide and takes out the 1st here at Hidden Valley. Simon Wills, the dual Australian Gold Star champion, does it, and Rick Kelly in the background there, you can see him in the 2nd of the cars run out of the Barana team. The Holden Young Lions entry gets home in 2nd position. Stewart Mccall at this stage on course to finish in 3rd. There he is. He's gotten around Clearahan, who would be a lap down now as a result of that. But Stewart Mccall, fantastic performance. Another guy making the step up this season from Formula Ford to a Wings and Slicks car. And a good performance on debut here in Hidden Valley. Keep in mind, these guys, most of them have never been to this track before, let alone drive around it. Emerson Newton-John finishes in 4th position, so the Californian will be very happy with that as well. But there's Simon Wills, your race winner. We'll check him out for you. Rick Kelly, 8 seconds adrift, so that spin that we saw, well, that off cost him a lot of time. Stewart Mccall from teammate Newton-John. Then it's the Hockey Motorsport entries. Murchison ahead of Contaparis, and Mark Ellis finishing 8th.
All right, Simon, despite the closeness of the qualifying times, you kept a reasonably clean pair of heels in that race.
Yeah, I had a few problems in qualifying, as I said earlier, and Well, we just sort of got it together this morning in the warm-up, and I think we got a pretty good race package. Like, they had a good race with Rick. I just wanted to stay out of trouble, make no mistakes, and fortunately he made a bit of an error near the end, so I had a bit of a gap.
Well, Rick Kelly pushing Simon Wills so hard until just you went off again as you did in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, I just went in a bit deep and didn't get off the brakes early enough and understeered off. So it's a bit disappointing I couldn't push Simon to the end, but hopefully I can do it next race.
Hope you're enjoying all of this afternoon's action right here on trackside, from tin tops to open wheelers getting set for the second race at Hidden Valley in the Formula Holdens. Rick Kelly, that man right there, very determined to try and beat his teammate Simon Wills in this one. Peter Hill had a big spin in practice, has had some engine dramas as well. He'll carry one of our 2 trackside onboard cameras. The Holden Young Lions entry in the hands of Rick Kelly, who'll start on the front row, will carry our second camera. The NRC Racing teammates Mccall and Newton-John on row 2. Then the Hocking Motorsport cars, Murchison and Contaparis. Then it's Terry Clearahan and Mark Ellis, Ian Peters, Alan Gerb, and Peter Hill, who we just saw at the very back of the grid. Warm conditions here today, over 30 degrees, so you can bet that it's even warmer within the cockpit of that car. At least they've got some cool air coming across the top of them. Good start by Taparis. He was trying to get around one of the NRC cars, but it's Rick Kelly who's catapulted away and leads Simon Wills. Mccall in third position. Newton-John has lost some ground. Christian Murchison has gotten around him. They're all through turn 1 for the first time, but a good start, Cameron McConville, by Rick Kelly.
It was a great start. He really got the power down well, got a slingshot off the line, and there's Peter Hill, who's actually made up 4 spots too in the first lap, so he'll be wrapped with that. Disappointed to have to start off the back of the grid, but Kelly's got his head down. Now he needs to try and get a gap from Simon Wills, and also, I suppose, not leave a gap for him to get past.
There's Alan Gurr, who had some gearbox problems in race 1. They seem to have fixed the car for race 2, and he's doing a terrific job at the moment. Keep in mind, he's working his way in the Roll Australia entry from virtually the back of the grid. Kelly setting a storming pace on these cold Yokohama tyres from the outset. Wills in second, and Mccall under threat now from Christian Murchison.
Yeah, Murchison. Let's go aboard Peter Hill. Let's have a look at this great start, because he made up quite a few spots. Second gear, he really got the power down well. Didn't get too much wheel spin. The engine box slightly. Now he's gone across to the inside, and look at that.
Like a rocket down into turn 1. Hill has made up a stack of ground in the M111 Racing Reynard. Brilliant start from him. Murchison got a flyer as well, and so did Rick Kelly. It enabled Kelly to get from grid position 2 into the lead. Well, what a season Christian Murchison has had so far. Hooked up with the Hocking Motorsport guys in a deal that was clinched, I guess, very late in terms of the motorsport season. Had some overseas ambitions which thus far haven't panned out, but the Singaporean driver is back in Formula Holden once again, and right now holds down 4th position. But he had a real tough run in Adelaide.
Yeah, he didn't have a good run there, and I know that Christian would really want to be right up the front in this category, and that the Hocking car perhaps a little underdeveloped. Oh, who's coming into the pits? That's Stewart Mccall.
The word is, I think in fact that's Emerson Newton-John, and the word that we're hearing is that he may have a stop-go penalty of some sort. So we'll try and get confirmation of that for you. In the meantime, back aboard with Peter Hill over the start-finish line. Indeed.
Stop-go penalty.
And you can bet that Newton-John will be filthy about that. So he's lost a heck of a lot of ground. In fact, will rejoin virtually in last position. So the American, who had high hopes of doing so well in this championship and thoroughly planned to use it as a springboard to another category in Europe or in America next season, has had a really rotten start to the year.
And sometimes it can start out that way too, Rusty. He certainly hasn't really done anything wrong except for that incident at the Grand Prix. We had a very, very heavy crash. But at the front of the pack, Simon Wills has closed right up onto the back of Rick Kelly. See him in the slipstream there, pulling out under brakes. Oh, big lock-up from Rick Kelly. It's pretty adventurous to think you can go right around the outside there at turn 1. He'll have to slot in behind him and try under brakes into the right-hander.
It is on there between the rookie and the champion. No two ways about it. Roger Oakeshott in car 28, who we got a quick shot of there, had some gearbox problems after a high-speed spin in qualifying at turn 1. So at the moment, he sits in 10th position in the Sportsmed South Australian entry onto the front straight. So a good battle going on there. In behind them, Emerson Newton-John. Now with Peter Hill. He looks like he's gotten around Contapara, so he's doing a fantastic job. Oh, big brake lock-up, though.
Very big lock-up.
That's cost him a stack of time. That's on the run up towards what they call Hidden Valley, this intersection here. Now, is there a problem?
I'd say so, because he's short-shifting. Let's have a look. It's a front, yep, it's the front locking up. Now, oh.
He's got a flat tyre, the back left.
You're right. Flat tyre, so did very well to hang on to that, actually. A left rear tyre going down, which brought the front of the car up off the ground, and that's disastrous. Peter Hill will be disappointed. Survived a high-speed crash earlier in the weekend, so I'm sure he'd be relieved to catch that one.
Well, he had to put a fresh engine in for this race as well, so his first venture to the top end will be one that he'd prefer to forget now. Lap traffic for our race leader to contend with here, and you can bet that Kelly will want to get past him very quickly. He does. Simon Wills trying to stay in touch with him, so it is on here between these two guys, the rookie and the reigning champion. Wills has won the championship on 2 occasions. In qualifying, they were separated by 3/100ths of a second. Incredible speeds from these cars at the very end of the front straight. So late under brakes, look at that. Now, Kelly's bunched in. Where is Wills going to go? Kelly goes to the outside. Wills tries to come with him. Awesome shots as we jump aboard the Holden Young Lions entry. Wills looking for the run down the inside. Not close enough. Those shots, though, how graphic is that? It's just such a quick ride with the Formula Holden guys.
Well, Rick Kelly got held up through turn 1 there, and luckily Simon Wills went to have a bit of a look down the inside, perhaps went in a bit too deep himself and lost out, but Rick has to try and get through this traffic as quickly as he can. He needs to read it correctly too, because that could really cost him if Simon Wills is so close behind.
Well, we are set for a brilliant finish to this race, right to the checkered flag. At the moment, Rick Kelly has gotten the upper hand over Simon Wills. He's doing exactly what he set out to do. He said at the end of race 1 that he wanted to get one back on Simon. Simon using, look at the slipstream, look how much ground Simon Wills makes up at the end of the main straight. He's on the outside. Can Wills go around him? He doesn't. That's a brilliant move. Wow.
Very, very late under brakes, but gee, the horsepower of Simon Wills' Formula Holden, they're obviously all identical engines, and we have a fastest lap of a 1:02.93, so he's absolutely flying, but he came from a long way back, got a really big advantage of the toe, pulled straight to the outside, braked as late as he possibly could, and it's quite bumpy there, and he pulled it off.
That is a new lap record for the Formula Holdens. Keep in mind, this is their first outing at Hidden Valley. And not only has Simon Wills broken the lap record set in race 1, he has also set a new outright lap record for this circuit. That is the fastest lap time ever recorded here. But oh, Kelly's in trouble. Boy, he is right on the knife edge. Rick Kelly, look at him locking up that inside left again.
Yeah, he seems to do that most laps through there as he goes down onto the front straight. It's a very quick left-hander, so most of the weight of the car moves across to the right. The left front just gets light, and it probably wouldn't be flat spotting that tyre at all.
Hasn't this spurred Rick Kelly on? Right with Simon Wills at the end of the front straight. Nothing in it between those two guys. And gee, he was carrying some incredible car speed down into that final turn, which brings them onto the front straight. We're heading for home in this one. Round 4 of the 2001 Formula Holden Australian Drivers' Championship. The man who's top of the point score right now is in second position and chasing the dual Australian champion, Simon Wills, who's been spending the better part of his year behind the wheel of a V8 supercar in the Konica Series. Had a crash, you may recall, at the recent round at Winton. But it looks like he'll be back in action in the next round of the Konica Series at Phillip Island. So he's having a mixed season. Brief outing in open wheelers once again. Well, a brilliant performance from Simon Wills. He wins race 2 here. Barana Engineering doing it once again. And Rick Kelly, you can't speak highly enough of his drive here this weekend. He had a moment in race 1, but he's stuck right with Simon Wills throughout this race. And although he was passed by him, Cameron, that's an excellent performance.
No, he drove very well. Only one little mistake in race 1, but he still retains the lead in the championship, and I'm sure that's what he'll be thinking about.
Good points as well for Stewart Mccall, who's just stayed right out of trouble all weekend. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay in touch with these two guys up in front, but his third position will give him valuable championship points for the NRC racing team as well. Alan Gurr, a good effort in fourth. Let's go trackside right now and hear from our winner. Grant Denyer is with him.
Well, Simon Wills, you really had to chase down that race win. Congratulations, well done. That gives you the race win on the day.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it was a tough one, that one. Rick drove superb, really. It's very hard to pass on this track when you get close because you start losing downforce, and the relativity of the low grip of the surface just makes it damn hard. But I managed to get a couple of good goes at him, and yeah, got him.
We made a lot of changes for the last race then, and we picked up about a second from our first race, which made it a lot better to race, but we've still got a long way to go to get the guys in front.
Let's have a look at the Formula Holden Australian Drivers' Championship point score. Rick Kelly on top by 31 points over Mccall, who's 14 clear of Simon Wills. Wills picking up 60 points from contesting just 2 rounds.